This is a box. You can put a lot of things in a box. You can put some books in a box. You can put some toys in a box. You can put a bunch of electronic cables in a box. And then one day when you have one specific cable that you look for, it takes you forever because you have all these cables all tangled up and you can't find the one you're looking for. The point is, there's a lot of good things to put in a box, but you should never put a person in a box. Because when you put a human being in a box, you are taking away their ability to grow outside of this little area that you have designated them to be inside. And there's many different ways you can put someone in a box. One of the ways we see it the most is through politics. We say, okay, this person I don't like, they are a fascist. This person is a fascist, or this person is a communist, or this person is, yeah, I've actually heard that about Canada before. Americans will say, Canada, you are a bunch of communists. So we can't do what Canada's doing because we've put you in a box and we don't like that box. Therefore, we can't do whatever you're doing. And the other thing with putting someone in a box is once they're in that box, let's go a step further. Let's say they actually deserve to be in that box. Let's say someone said something racist, they made a ridiculous remark, and now, where's that box? And now you put them in the racist box. So you are a racist, you're in the racist box. Now, how do they get out of that box? Because once you've already put them in the box, like they could change their behavior. They could no longer be a racist. They could actually look back at their old behavior and be like very ashamed and very, they could feel like that's not even the same person they are anymore. But once you've put them in that box, where's the chance to grow? Where's the chance to escape the box? How does that styrofoam in my box, you see? It's upside down. It still can't get out. Because it's really hard when you put something in a box or someone in a box for it to get out of that box. And that's the other thing about putting people in a box. You actually are kind of like, well, there's two things. On the one hand, sometimes you put someone in a box and they don't deserve to be in that box. Sometimes you're just jumping to conclusions based on information you don't know. But other times you put someone in a box and you actually have a good reason to. Someone behaved like a racist, so you put them in a racist box. Or someone behaved like a bully, so you put them in the bully box. But sometimes they are no longer that person. And so the box is like a snapshot of one moment of their life. But the thing about life is always moving forward. People are not static images. Like we're not like paintings on the wall that cannot change. We are living organisms. And we grow and we change and we adapt, and that's life. And if you don't believe me, just think about yourself 10 years ago. Ask who you were. Ask yourself who you were 10 years ago. Ask yourself what you believed. Ask yourself if there's any things you believed that you would be ashamed of today, or maybe you'd find ridiculous today. It doesn't have to be shame. Like there's more emotions than just shame. But something that you don't even recognize anymore as yourself, but that at one point in your life you believed. Maybe beliefs are a bit strong of a way to approach this. Like there's other ways to approach this. You can look at your fashion sense. You can look at your friends, your circle of friends. Because it can be really hard to, on the spot, just think about how have my beliefs changed? It's kind of a deep question. But when you look at the friends who you're around, when you look at the activities you do, those are just embodiments of the beliefs that you have. So if you have a bunch of friends who are kind of like immature and like to drink a lot, like no offense to people who like to drink a lot, like I've been there too, but at this stage of my life, that's no longer my priority. There was a time of my life when like going drinking on Friday night was like the main thing that I lived for. What was it, late teenager, early 20s? Like that was what life was about. And for some people, it's still what life is about. And I don't judge them. I don't call them alcoholics. I don't put them in a box because I don't actually know that much about them. Like, let's say I had a friend 10 years ago I used to drink with, and they still like to drink. based on that one fact alone, I could put them in that box. But do I even know them anymore? Because I don't even hang out with them. So why would I put them in a box? And why would I go tell other people like, oh, this old Jimmy, oh, Jimmy is an alcoholic. I don't know that. I'm just using like one piece of data that I might have and applying that to someone's whole existence and robbing them of the ability to grow, to change, or even to defend themselves. Like, you're just like, that's what you are. You're an alcoholic. You're a racist. You're a communist. You're a capitalist. You're a Democrat. You're a Republican. I don't even like those terms like Democrat and Republican. I think that is like a big part of the problem we have in politics is you hear one person's belief. Like someone will say, I'll pick something kind of crazy. Someone will say, I don't believe in climate change. I haven't seen it. I think some years are cold, some years are warm. I don't believe in it. And then someone else will say, you believe in conspiracy theories. You are not educated. You are a dummy. And they start to attack them, and they start to like put all these other beliefs and like boxes on this person without even asking them, so like, why did you come to that belief? What gave you that idea? What data, what proof do you have to back it up? And I know sometimes it can be tiring to try and like approach every conversation or every interaction with good faith. Because some people, especially online, some people are just trolls. Like some people don't want to have a real interaction. They just want to like get people upset. And that's a big part of the reason why it's just easier to put people in boxes, because then you don't need to actually think, well, is this a good person or a bad person? You've already decided. But it has really negative impacts for society when we're all doing that. And it has negative impacts for ourselves too, because you've robbed yourself of the ability to grow and to learn. There was an English writer named Christopher Hitchens, and Christopher Hitchens made a great point about this.
It's not just the right of the person who speaks to be heard. It is the right of everyone in the audience to listen and to hear. And every time you silence somebody, you make yourself a prisoner of your own action because you deny yourself the right to hear something.
Not only are you taking away the right of that person you have silenced, but you are taking away a right from yourself. You're taking away your own right to learn from that person's perspective. And so it's kind of a tricky thought to get your mind around, but in a sense, every time you put someone in a box, you're hurting yourself. You're hurting yourself by giving yourself an incomplete view of the world. Because sometimes someone could say something ridiculous and you could actually learn from them. When you just say, you're wrong, you're in that box, I don't talk to people in that box. You've stopped their ability to teach you something, and you've stopped your own ability to learn. And when those two things can't come together, society has problems. And we have a lot of problems right now in the society, and I think a big part of it is we're too quick to put people inside boxes. And we should remember that a box is not for a person. A box is for books, a box is for toys, and a box is for a bunch of old cables that eventually you're going to try and find again when you need one. Oh yeah, and one last point. I almost forgot to mention this, but this is really important too. Don't put yourself in a box, because we put ourselves in boxes too. Especially with stuff like our personal life or our professional life. Like for a long time, I put myself in the box of I make travel videos on YouTube. That's what I do. That's all I do. So that's all I should do. But I had to open up that box and create something new to start this channel. And it can be tough when you jump out of a box and try to experience the world, I suppose, and experience what is outside that box. Because sometimes it's comfortable in that box. It gives you a label to easily explain what you're doing. If you work as an accountant, it's easy to explain that you're an accountant. If you quit that job as an accountant and you try to start your own business or something, it can be harder to explain to people. They might not understand it at first. It might be easy. It might seem easier for everyone to just stay in that box, but there's a lot of growth to be had outside of that box. So maybe my last word for you today is, what boxes have you put yourself in? And are there any boxes that are open and waiting for you to jump out?